Is Coach Maggie, certified health and lifestyle coach. And one of the things that I hear regularly from people is I'm doing all the things out, I'm walking, and so but I'm not seeing results. And I've done that. We do that with different things. We try something, it doesn't seem to be working, and so we think, I guess it doesn't work, or it works for everyone else, but it just doesn't work for me. And really, that is exactly the opposite. It works, but maybe you just do some things differently. Part of the thing is just like we get used to, if we do something over and over, it gets easier and it doesn't take much effort. Think of things that you've done that in the beginning were really hard and you had to think hard, you had to work hard, and there was a lot of effort into it. I know 5 years ago I ran my first 5K, and I'm not really a runner. I did a little bit in college and high school sprinting, but to say distance where you're, I never did any of that, never liked it. But I was encouraged and challenged by my kids and wanted to run a race with them. In the beginning, I couldn't even get around high school track one time. But after weeks and weeks and into months, pretty soon I went from barely making it halfway and still breathing, able to run around one time. Now, mind you, I was out of breath, but I could do it. And eventually I was able to run around 2 times. And so it wasn't long until I was actually able to do the 3.2 miles. And again, I was exhausted, but I was able to do it without stopping. It was not an overnight thing. But the key, what I'm trying to say is, if we're doing the same thing and we're not changing it up, then the body gets used to it and says, oh, I can do that. And there's no real effort. If I had just ran one time around and never pushed myself, I would have never improved and I would have never been able to run the 5K. The other thing is, and this is what I think is a big problem I see, is people say, okay, I'm gonna get control of my health. So they jump in, and it would be equivalent to me saying, okay, I'm gonna run a 5K, and I go out and try to run a 5K, having never done it before. I would totally burn myself out. First of all, I wouldn't be able to do it, but then I'd be like, well, why couldn't I? I have to ease myself into it by taking small steps. And that's where I think too many people end up starting, but giving up and saying, it's not working for me. Like I said, all of these things, they take time, they take effort, they take changing it up. So let me give you some examples. So, for example, the person that says, well, I walk every day, but change that up. Maybe some days, walk really fast, or maybe do where you walk really fast, almost a power walk, but then you do it a little slower. Sometimes people go to a track and they will actually sprint a part and then walk. But again, it's like almost keeping your body guessing, because until that point, if it's just easy, the body says, I got this. So there's no real energy burned. Maybe you say, well, I eat this particular way and it seems really healthy. A lot of people eat the same things over and over and over. And again, the body gets used to it. So there's no real push. Think of starting a gym program. A lot of people, I see this particularly with exercise. People will go and they'll start doing something, whether it's running or walking, and maybe the first month they see themselves having more energy, dropping a few pounds. But then along the way, all of a sudden, they get to what they think is a wall, and nothing happens. And then they're frustrated. And at that point, they're saying, well, walking, I can't lose weight, or I don't feel any better. I still feel achy. But again, your body has gotten used to it. And so it's really important to continually be looking at ways to change things around. I have put together a 4-week program to help you do just that. We're going to dive into what are the best foods that you should be eating now. Winter is behind us, at least for most of us. Okay, so we need to be eating differently because that makes a difference in what the body takes in and processes. We're going to look at ways to boost metabolism, okay, to burn that energy. Okay, we're going to look at ways to mend and start healing the gut because again, this is a huge thing that most people, it's one of those pieces that often are overlooked because people don't see the connection in the gut. Think of being on a major highway and there's a stalled car. Everything slows down. And so the traffic can't move. And that's what happens in the body a lot of times. And we need to get things moving. And so we're going to be talking about that because, again, that's going to affect everything. Maybe you say, well, my issue isn't weight, but you struggle with irritability, your lack of energy, feeling sluggish. That's because things need to be moving. Brain fog is a huge one for a lot of people. I just can't recall those details. I forget. I feel just overwhelmed. And we don't necessarily connect it to being a digestive issue. But when we have all of these things going on, indigestion, all these issues, it's putting a strain on the brain. And that's where the brain fog comes in. So it's just going to be a 4-week course. It's going to be on Zoom. You could come in your pajamas. And we're going to talk about these issues to get you started. We all want to be out. We want to be active. We don't want to be aging quicker than we're supposed to. And a lot of the things that are going on around us, the air, the water, there's things that we cannot control, but there's a lot more that we can. And so let's do our part to make the changes that we need to really be at our very best. So we wake up energized, ready for the day. When I don't feel good, then that shows itself in how I am with others, how I do my work or lack of. And so we want to really be at our best. So this is the perfect time to start making some of those changes. And if you've tried and thought there's no hope, if you've tried and thought this doesn't work for me, it works for other people, if you've thought there has to be some magic to it, there isn't. A lot of it is honestly common sense. But again, it's looking at things a little bit differently. So I have a link in the comments. Go ahead and click it. You can get more information. Maybe this is something that can really turn things around for you. And maybe you'd want to invite some of your friends to go on this journey together with me so that as we go into later in the spring and early summer, you will begin to see some of those changes and really feeling great again. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you have questions, please let me know. Share this. And again, check out that link and take care. God bless and stay tuned for more details.